Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's second trailer. There's a lot to talk about, so once again, I have invited a lot of our best friends here to join me in a video podcast for Pokemon. So everybody give a warm welcome to Dustygogoat.
What's up, everyone? It's Dustygogoat.
And Cayla from Cayla's Capsule.
Hello, I'm Cayla.
Are you Cayla?
I really am, and this is Cinnamon, the score bunny.
Is that really Cinnamon?
It is, that's her name. She's very sweet and also a little bit feisty, so don't mess with her.
First off, I want us to talk about the biggest ball drop that they did in this trailer and the biggest thing that they wanted to show off in general, which was the multiplayer. I don't think any of us were expecting this multiplayer mode or just feature that they're implementing. So what are you guys' thoughts on that? Let's go ahead and start with you, Cayla.
Super excited about it. My only worry is that if the internet doesn't work, it could be difficult, you know? Like if there are like problems with lag or like there's like all sorts of things with that could be potentially a problem, because I want to be able to play with all you guys, and like while Jonny lives pretty close to me, Dusty, you're pretty far away. So it'd be really, really nice if the internet for it works really well so we can just play with people all over the place.
100%. That's like my same concern. Like Pokemon internet capabilities have never been there. So for me, when I saw that in the trailer, I just kind of like, I did not get excited at all. Until we see more or until someone can confirm that it's actually good, I'm not even excited.
Now wait a minute. Pokemon has had good internet before, but only in Pokemon Unite. It's pretty reliable. Okay. It's pretty reliable.
Well, hopefully they learned from that, because I really want to be able to play with everybody.
I don't think they did, because it's Tencent, not Game Freak.
Yeah.
Back on a brighter note, with the multiplayer, Dusty, what are your thoughts on the multiplayer for it?
I think the multiplayer could be very cool. It could be very cool. Again, it depends on how it works. Not only the capabilities of the online and whether or not it'll be laggy or not, but also like what is the extent of this? Is this just like you can only do it in certain areas, which really wouldn't make sense because this is supposed to be open world, which would suggest if you can do it anywhere, which then suggests that this is like a mini MMO of sorts. But like what is the scope of this online multiplayer going to look like?
Yeah, I think they were implying that it was gonna be the entire world. You can traverse the entire world. I'm assuming, and I mean I'm hoping for that, obviously, because that would be really cool. And since it's not like an MMO, you know, massive multiplayer online, and it's just 4 people, it is possible. It's just, and what I really want to know is who Game Freak is working with to make this online multiplayer run smooth. If it is such a prominent feature of the game, which it seems to be like the main feature of the game, I am curious who they're working with, because even if they're working with Nintendo's online services are not very good either. Just look at Smash Brothers Online. That game is a mess to play online. It's really hard to have a good connection, and you have to rely on yourself to have, you know, a wired connection and then to be connected to someone who's close to you geographically. So really? Yeah, so it's really bad in that regard. So with something like a Pokemon, you know, open world Pokemon game, which we're also gonna have to talk about the open world, but with something like that, I wonder how deep it has to go and how stable the connection has to be for it to do all the things that they're gonna want it to do, you know, to be interacting with people in real time.
Yeah. So I'm on the website right now. It does say you can discover new Pokemon and explore unfamiliar areas. That's the nice part. And then the keywords with your friends and family. The word family makes me think of the co-op mode in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Yeah. I'm wondering if it's going to be... So that's essentially just like a local co-op.
Yeah. So there's no confirmation that it's online co-op?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No, I'm asking.
No,
yeah.
I think it has to be online co-op because the trainers have different outfits and different... I don't think... They all had different starters, and usually people only have one. So I think it's going to be with other people who actually have the game. I actually don't think local co-op is going to be possible because I don't understand how that could work.
So on the website, does it or does it not confirm whether it's online or local?
I'll read it. Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet allow multiplayer gameplay with up to 4 players, along with series staples such as trading and battling. You will be able to explore the various locations of the region in the games with other players.
So it doesn't necessarily say online.
No, there's no text.
Wow. So maybe it's not an online feature. Maybe it's just a local co-op play feature where if two people have their Switches in the same room, they can connect locally with a... I don't think they use infrared anymore, but whatever the modern equivalent is of infrared signals.
But the biggest question I still have though is like, what is the co-op gonna be? Are we just running around? We're all in the same hub?
It seems like, even no matter what your version.
I'm wondering what things you can actually do together though, because and I played a little bit of Temtem, and you can do like some story things with other people. You can actually play like 2-player with other people and do story things. So I don't know if Pokemon is gonna have that in this, if they're gonna be like, oh, we gotta compete with Temtem, so let's have them fight the gym leader as a group of 4, and it becomes like a 4v4. Like,
that's what I was thinking.
Maybe just 2 players talk to each other, and then that becomes a 2-on-2 battle right there in the hub. So this really does have potential, because in Sun and Moon they had the whole festival plaza, which, I mean, all of their online features have been kind of like these pseudo MMO thing where it's like there's supposed to be a hub that you share together within to communicate, and that's never really, I've never felt like that's like the immersion's never been there. This really could be that, where if you are all interacting in the same biome, like that goes all the way back to the original link cable room, right?
Yeah.
Except the room is the entire region.
I also wanted to point out some possible proof that we actually might be battling together with the people on the co-op, and that is something that I discussed in my video today, where we noticed that there's a health bar above the wild Pokemon, instead of it being, like part of the on-screen UI, like stuck on the corners of the screen. You know what I'm saying?
That's cool.
And I thought about it, and I thought maybe this might be a sign, and I mentioned this too in the video, that this might be a sign that maybe we can have horde battles again. But another way to handle the horde battles, unlike in Pokemon Legends, because it's a single player game, you had to fight with 1 Pokemon against like 5, right? Maybe in this game, when you fight a horde battle, your friends can join in to help you, so you don't have to do that 1v5. You can do a 2v5 or something like that,
I like that a lot, Johnny. I was also making that connection because like horde battles were introduced in Kalos, and again, I feel like there are going to be a lot of references to Kalos. But like I think that makes a lot of sense, because it also sounds like a new shiny hunting feature. They've always tried to like attach shiny hunting to multiplayer. What is it, Cayla?
So the interesting thing with that though is if we do share spawns. In the past, like in Sword and Shields, we were all able to catch, right, from the raid battles. But since we're walking around in the overworld, if we're sharing spawns, are we all going to be able to catch that? Probably not. So if there's a shiny, what happened? So I'm thinking we might not be sharing spawns. We might be able to see each other, but I don't know if we're going to be sharing spawns, because that's going to lead to some interesting things.
We might want to think about how Pokemon Go works, because Pokemon Go, I think they just surpassed $6 billion in gross, right? Like, or in revenue. It was one of those business terms. Anyways, moving on. I think Dynamax was like created to mirror the success of Pokemon Go and to link this series to Pokemon Go. This is essentially rather than Dynamax and focusing on the raid battles. This is essentially just what we really do in Pokemon Go. People meet up together and go places in real life, and they share those same spawns. So that's a great idea, Cayla. I think you probably would share the same spawns, because that's how it works in Go.
There's a few logistical things that I'm curious about, because also you can play it with someone who has a different version. So like, again, another thing I talked about in my video today was about, we kind of got confirmation that Larvitar and Bagon are version exclusives. Larvitar being for Scarlet, Bagon being for Violet. And with that, say you're in the same spot that they spawn, version exclusively. How is that handled too if you had the same spawns, And then again, like you guys were asking about the shiny spawns, because in Pokemon Go, you actually do not share shiny spawns. You get
You're right. Yeah.
you press on the Pokemon and one person might get it, one person might not. But in Sword and Shield, I think they did make it where it's always a shiny, right? If you get the same one in a raid.
In the regular ones, but in the Dynamax Adventures, those are not. You don't share the shiny odds.
You don't share the shiny odds.
No.
On that. Okay.
There's been
but in the
times where,
regular
like,
raids, you do, right?
Yeah, in the regular raids, yeah.
Okay.
You said something there. I had a thought. Continue. I
the-
gotta remember what it was.
Version exclusives or
Yeah, I think that might be a really creative way. Like if Scarlet and Violet players link up, that might be a really creative way to allow Violet players to get Scarlet exclusives in their game.
So
Yeah, that would
without
definitely
trading,
encourage-
you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, like, what's
Yeah.
a trade? You're essentially meeting up with a person who has the other game, but better than that, like, rather than just someone catching it and trading it to you, you're linking up, and then you can actually have the experience of catching it.
I wish that was the case, but they showed them actually trading in the game. I think that was their way of trying to confirm to us that you don't get the Pokemon by seeing the same spawn, but you can trade them there on the spot right after you do it. And those Pokestops are like everywhere, it seems. So it's not like out of reach to just go ahead and trade right there after one of you catches the version exclusive or something.
Yeah, I mean,
It could
we'll
be
have to.
that. It could be that like where Larvitar spawns, Bagon spawns, so it's like parallel spawning as opposed to just like the exact same spawn. You know?
Possible.
That's what I was thinking.
But that means we probably can't join in on battles with wild Pokemon.
Shoot. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. There's only
will
one way
see.
to find out.
There was this wild theory about like maybe there being like past and future forms, and then like you can only access them depending which game you have, and they're basically like, let's say Pikachu, like you can only get one form of it, one version of it, and the theory linked that to link trading. That's why I thought of it.
That would be cool. That's another cool feature. But
Yeah.
alas, once again, there's only one way we're going to find out all of this, and that is waiting for another trailer or
Yeah.
just till the game releases. So, in that case, let's go ahead and move on to the topic of graphics in the game. This is, of course, always a talking point among Pokemon fans. I want to know what you guys think about the graphics with this new showcase. Let's start with you, Dustygogoat.
So again, this is a point where with the trailer, I was not that thrilled. I'll preface, I'm not the type of person. I'm never the person to be like, well, this isn't of a certain quality, therefore it's not fun.
Yeah.
But when I did see this trailer, I was like actually bothered by how strange the Pokemon, not the character models, but the Pokemon models just looked so strange. Johnny, you had talked about this a little bit. Maybe there's some like technical explanation for this, but for me, I'm like looking at these Pokemon. They look like. What was your theory that like this is an older trailer? It's older footage.
Gosh, it's a working theory. I hope it's correct, but
Yeah.
I think it's older footage than the first trailer, because when I was looking at the Pokemon models and them versus the environment and the use of lighting and texturing, I noticed that a lot of Pokemon didn't have texture in this new
Yeah.
trailer, which is something that like they showed very prominently up close in the first trailer. And then also the light was not hitting them in like realistic ways that they would fall on those models, but they were again in the previous trailer. There are some clips in this trailer that they do, like there's a shot of Talonflame in this trailer where Talonflame does look lit up properly and like the model has its texture and everything, but some of the other ones, like especially the one with that sea urchin Pokemon, I think it's a sea urchin, I'm not sure what it is, the one that eats Corsola.
Oh,
yeah,
Toxapex,
Mariana's evolution.
Toxapex,
Yeah,
yes, yeah.
Maybe
The
what
scene
they
with that,
do-
it looked really bad.
It did. It really did. Maybe what they do is like, take a ton of like they just get a ton of footage ready, marketing footage, piece together. Okay, we're gonna, and then like the closer they get to the actual like release trailer, then they kind of finalize it, take pieces out, put stuff in, and then maybe some of this stuff was for the first trailer 3 months ago,
Yeah,
which would have actually been like 5 months old.
yeah, they probably, like you said, just get a bunch of footage. Those other footage that they got probably were like right around when they were putting that trailer out, and they were like, let's get our most impressive looking shots out.
Yeah.
And so they did that, and then this one's like other shots that they got back then, or even before
Yeah.
then possibly, and then just like put it out as like here is the biggest feature that we're introducing, which is the multiplayer, and then showing the like informal gym structure and all that, which is another topic that we need to talk about, and I totally skimmed over it. But we'll get back to that later. So, Cayla, I am curious what your thoughts are as well on the graphics of the newest trailer.
Yeah, they definitely feel unfinished. I'm hoping that they're gonna improve them. My biggest gripe with the graphics is the battle animations. I feel like I feel like Legends actually did a pretty good job with battle animations, and they looked pretty epic. And I felt like in the trailer they were trying to make these battle animations be like epic moments, but they just didn't feel epic.
Yeah.
You know, like, and so I'm hoping that that's like a temporary thing, and they're gonna, fix some things. But some of them I don't know if they're going to.
Yeah, I'm with you. I hope they do too, because I actually forgot about that. Yeah, more so than the graphics, I think the animations or lack thereof is what's worse in this. Like, we all have seen the shot by now of the tackle not touching the other Pokemon when Lechonk tackles, quote unquote.
I feel like it's that contact that really makes a difference.
Yeah, because then it feels like, like it's actually
it doesn't even need to be this like big magical thing. It just needs to be like the contact. I mean, obviously, like, give us some fluff. Like, if it's fire type, it should look like a fire type move.
Yeah.
But just that contact makes a big difference.
Yeah, it's the immersion factor. Like, you want to feel immersed in the game when you're playing it. And if you see something that is so blatantly unimmersive and doesn't make sense, it's going to take you out. It doesn't matter how young you are. It doesn't matter how oblivious you are to that sort of thing. You're going to notice it. It's going to bother you. It's something that shouldn't be there.
The immersion for me, like, I've been thinking about the contrast between like older Pokemon games, the 2D sprite games, versus the last 10 years of Pokemon video games. And for me, it's like the immersion is there in those older games because our brains naturally fill in the gaps, right? Like, we understand the limitations of the technology, and they're already stylized with the pixels. I don't know. There's just no excuse. Like, Jonny, do you think that's something that like could be fixed? Like that cutscene of the battle animation of the Lechonk not making contact. Could they simply just like fix something where it goes all the way and then comes back?
Yeah.
Is that something that could be fixed?
Of course. It's just the issue is that with their track record, they don't go back and fix it. What they show you is what you get. And that's something that really sucks. A lot of people bring up like game footage not final. But with Pokemon, like historically with Pokemon, it's been final. The first time they show you something is almost exactly what it's like the last time.
Legends was the outlier there, right?
Kind of. The only thing with Legends that they ended up changing from the first trailer to release was the frame rate of the Pokemon in the overworld.
Okay.
And yes, it was an outlier because of that. That is the first time that game footage not final actually meant something in a Game Freak Pokemon game. But other than that, like, everything we saw from the trailers after was pretty much exactly what you got in the final product. Some touch-ups here and there. And again, Legends was an outlier in the sense that, like, I didn't expect some touch-ups from, like, even the second trailer to release, but they did. But again, historically with other Pokemon games and what it's looking like with Scarlet and Violet, where they went backwards from trailer 1 to trailer 2 on the presentation, I don't know. I don't think that they're going to go above and beyond this time. I think they're doing what they did with Sword and Shield again, which was giving the new generation of games to the new people that are working at Game Freak. Amori admitted in an interview that Sword and Shield was made by new developers to Game Freak, like a bunch of new hires, and then him as the director. So like,
Would that mean this game is by that same team?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It might be.
Unless they're working on the next game, possibly,
unless
or the DLC.
They're working on something, and I don't want to know which one it is, but I
want
to know which one it is, but I want to avoid whatever game it is. But it might be this one. We'll see. I don't know. But then again, these visuals aren't that bad, like everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just like select scenes look bad and select scenes look good,
Yeah, I was gonna say a counterpoint to that is the human characters. I feel like they actually look pretty good.
Better than ever. Yeah, I think like the animations for that.
It's so much texture.
Yes, and even like if you look at the way she throws Pokeballs, like she throws them weird and it's on purpose,
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, they've done that before.
Purpose.
They've done that
Yeah,
before
but-
with characters. It's just, but like the general
It's
like
done
motion.
even more, though. It's
Well,
like
you're like
better.
you're thinking of something subconscious right now that makes it look better to you, and that is just the overall motion that the character model has when they do their
maybe.
movements. So something I noticed with the shots of Nimona in particular was that when they were animating her, like every part of her is moving. Something is flowing. Her hair is always flowing. Her eyes are always moving one direction or another.
Maybe that's it. Yeah.
Her face, I think, has more rigs in it, so like you see more facial motion from her.
You can see her freckles.
You can see
Yeah, did you
yeah.
see her freckles?
Yeah.
And there's
That's so
texture. Yeah,
cool.
obviously the
I
textures
feel
are
like
better
they
too.
saw the success of Marnie and was like, okay, she needs to be. We need a girl like this, a cool girl like this, to be the actual rival. Because no one
Yeah.
likes Hop, no one likes How.
I feel like she's so much more expressive than Marnie, though, already.
Yeah, I know.
Well, yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Also, so much more. I don't know. I find her so much.
I
more
think she's
interesting
cooler than Marnie.
too. I think she's
Yeah.
got a lot going on.
Yeah.
But people loved Marnie. I feel like people like adored Marnie.
I
Just
think
'cause
people are gonna love Nimona even more.
I do. I don't even care about characters, and I see this character, and I'm like, she's interesting. Like I feel like maybe it's because she's older, and I don't identify with these like 9-year-old main characters, and then I see her, and I go, okay, that could be me.
Plus, like,
Right?
usually your rival is like the same age as you, same kind of journey,
Yeah.
and she's at a different point in her life, but she's still your rival. And that kind of makes sense because I feel like we're supposed to be a prodigy, but our rival is like the same age as us and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. It's like, if our rival's somebody older than us, then it makes sense. Like, she should have an advantage. She should be tough, you know? Like, our
Yeah.
battles with her shouldn't be like, oh no, it's my rival. I hope I win. Like, it should be
Yeah.
intense.
I mean, that's probably what it's gonna be anyway. Sorry to break it to you.
No, I have a video coming out tomorrow about the 3 Pokemon that we know are Nimonas, and I think she's got some things going on.
Okay.
I'm
I
excited
hope
to see
so.
it.
Yeah, I,
I guess
hope
that video will be out by the time this comes out.
probably.
Maybe
Yeah,
it's coming out tomorrow at noon, so
So-
yeah. It'll
I
be
don't know if it'll be
coinciding.
tomorrow for you guys watching, but
Do they
Thursday.
typically describe rivals as friends? Because her description is your friend Nimona.
yes, yeah, they do. For a lot of the they'll be like your friendly rival. That's
Okay.
been a very common thing.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know she was a rival right off the bat until a couple hours later.
Yeah. So since we're talking about the characters and story anyway right now, what do you guys think about the professors and how they might tie into the legendaries and how the legendaries might tie into gameplay and our overall like unlinear structure of the game?
I mean, Cayla, you wanna shoot? I mean, I've
Sure.
got. Yeah.
I mean, I have my whole theories about quantum time crystals and how that could work. I'm not 100% sure how that will tie into the professors. Obviously, we're only going to have one professor in each game.
I don't think we
know-
will.
No, so they said the Pokemon Company tweeted out that we're going to only have one professor in each game. But they specifically said we're only going to have one professor. They didn't say the other character won't be in there as a
Yeah.
non-professor.
Right.
Oh,
So that's what
that
I'm
means-
thinking.
Yeah, so that means that the rival school thing is probably not true. Like, I don't think we're going to have rival schools because we only have one professor. But that
Yeah.
doesn't mean we can't have a rival organization or something like that.
Yes, yeah. I think we're going to have one school per version, and there's not going to be like a rival school because they showed a clip of them divided based on the version. It's the same place, just with different emblems.
Right. Yeah,
So
so the
they're
other
separate-
professor might exist as a character, but they're not going to be a professor.
Right.
Interesting. I was looking at this like they would both be like I look at this as like they're both teachers. They're both like high classing or high ranking teachers within the academy. Or what are we calling this? An academy, a school?
Sure. Academy, school, whatever
yeah.
you want.
And it's essentially like I mean the line right here that they're fixated on passing down a specific lore. I love the idea of like, you know, whichever one, it's obviously different for each game, but they are obsessed with a specific ideology, and I'm getting a lot of vibes. It's like the whole truth versus ideals, same type of thing that we got with Black and White.
And even Ruby and Sapphire, I feel like is an even bigger comparison to make. I just based on
The separation of teams, yeah.
Right. Cayla and I think have the same sort of theory about how it's going to work. And that's like you have your professor on your game and your school or whatever what your academy stands for, which is either the future or things rooted in tradition. And then the evil organization is going to be something that rivals that, you know, and then the other professor might be the leader of that.
Oh, that's cool.
Think.
And the cool thing too about the way they design the professors, like if you look at them, their lab coats are what make them look like professors, right?
Yes.
But if you take off their lab coats, they look like they could be the leader of an evil team.
Yep.
So
it's
not that big of a design change to just be like, oh, well, this is the opposite game.
Just
Lab
no
coat
coat.
comes off.
Exactly.
Like, here we go.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah.
So do we think that the professor within our game that is like giving us our Pokemon maybe or whatever, do you think that's the character that's going to turn evil, or do you think it's going to be like whatever the other one is, that's the evil one?
I think it's going to be the other one, but it could be, it could very well be the opposite. But
I like the idea of a twist.
me too. Yeah.
I like the idea of let's say I'm Scarlet, right? And then who's the Seda, right?
Mm-hmm.
Seda is my professor. Professor Seda. I'm playing Scarlet, and I'm learning under her tutelage. She's teaching me things. She gave me her Pokemon, like the first few gyms. It's all good. I think I trust her. And then there's some of these weird things, kind of like Lucamine, kind of like Commander Kamado, right? And at some point we realize, oh, she's really idealistic. And even though I guess I like the idea of like the one that you're closest with, like I guess showing her dark side.
Yeah.
And then you realize, oh, this other professor, Professor Turo, who she's been like insulting or saying, oh, he's crazy, ends up being like, you see, like it's a balance there.
Yeah.
It could also be
I like that idea.
It could also be a situation where both of them end up being bad, and it's us and Nimona against the world.
I didn't even think of that.
Any sort of extreme ideology is good.
Exactly. It would be like anti-extremism, which, I mean, good message.
That's kind of funny, I guess. Yeah, I
don't know. I guess what I'm thinking about Legends Arceus and how, I mean, we had a conversation right here about how amazing it was to actually be kicked out of the town. Like that was a shock, right? And I'm thinking I would love to experience that again. I don't whether or not it's going to happen. That's a different question.
I think it would have more impact in this one because, you know, we've always like had 20 years of professors being our guide and go-to, you know, trustworthy person. I would love for them to be the bad one in the end, but I don't think they're going to do it personally.
All right.
I think they're going to stay pretty straightforward in it because they do that a lot with their mainline new generational releases. Like they don't usually take risks unless it's one like a remake or reimagination like Legends, you know?
That's true. They do have to set a foundation. You have a lot more liberties with a remake.
Yeah.
I was gonna say they're taking more risks because of Legends, but then I remembered BDSP came right before that, and I was like, maybe not.
Yeah, I can't trust them yet. Maybe one day I'll be able to trust that they'll do something impressive with the new generational release. But until
when our friendship started, Jonny was a fan of Pokemon, but I feel like was not really a connoisseur. And now, ever since like I watched his rise into playing Legends Arceus and falling in love with the series again. I mean, I feel like you're still like a little bitter. Like he's still like.
Of course,
I know
bitter.
how it's been.
I felt wronged over the years up until Legends of like.
I think
them charging more and more money for less and less content and quality. Again, like not like they're pushing out like terrible games or anything, but it's just we all know like how much they profit and how much effort they don't put in a lot of their titles, but Legends seemed to be like a big turnaround for that. Legends even had a free DLC, like
I know,
a single version with everything packed in it, plus a free DLC, plus quality all up and down every inch of the game. Like I was in shock that it was a quality Pokemon game after so many years. But
I'm just hoping they see that and they make more Legends games, you know? Like, if they're not going to make it the mainline series, then just make more Legends games.
Yeah, that's what I've been wondering. I've been wondering if maybe they're, like, starting to divide it out based on the fan base. So maybe Legends is for, like, adults and, like, older crowds of Pokemon fans like us, you know, who can, who've played other games by now because we're older, and so we want quality in our games, right? So I guess Legends is our game for that. But then the new generational releases are for like younger crowds who just want something
General
like,
audience.
yeah, a general audience.
And it's the standard battle format, right?
Yeah. I don't know about remakes though. I don't know who that's. It should ideally fit the older generation too, but BDSP did the opposite of that, so I have no idea.
I mean, that could just be the new formula. I mean, it's essentially, and we've talked about this countless times, it's a glorified port. So you've done the easy, like that's just like, okay, well, if you want a port, here's the port. You can play the game now on the current console, and we make money. And then it's like, okay, but here's the artistic game.
I mean, this is a whole nother conversation, but they also
I know.
made BDSP.
We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. I like these professors.
Yeah, I was just gonna say before that BDSP did have some like really big difficulty spikes for that you would think were for veteran players instead of newcomers. So it was like a mixed mess. Anyways, yes, the new professors are amazing. I hope that the one that you get in your game is the villain, but I have a feeling that if they are both in the games, no matter which version you get, which it seems to be the case, that person's probably going to be the villain, as opposed to the professor that you start with in your version. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the new Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
So we have, let's start with Palmy. I'll start on Palmy. I like the design on the artwork. I don't like it in game. Something about the in-game model looks weird to me. Like it's not as cute. It's not chonky in all the right parts anymore. I don't know.
I like all of them. I like all the new Pokemon.
I kind of like them, I guess.
Palmy, Palmy. When I first saw it in the trailer, I first saw it in like its gameplay, and I do not like its game. Like I do not like how it looks in the game at all. I think I've warmed up to the art. The art's it's kind of cute. It looks fluffy.
Yeah, I like the art.
The art's nice.
It looks chonky.
Art better, but I still like that it's like this chonky thing. Like it's this chonky thing with very tiny toes, just like really, really small.
But it doesn't look as chonky in the game. I want it to be chonky. It doesn't look as chonky.
I think what I don't like is the first time you see it, it comes out of the Pokeball, and it's against like its yellow body is on the tan floor, which makes it look really like washed out. And maybe that's why I don't like it, because I'm looking at the photo right now of it in the grass, kind of like begging like this. But it's cute. Mm-hmm. It's cute. I see it.
What about
it's warming
Smoliv?
Up to me.
What about Smoliv?
Well, I hope Palmy evolves. That's just my last statement. I hope it evolves. But
I'm sure it will.
I like Smoliv a lot.
I'm sure these all will.
I think Smoliv might become a grass fire type, the first grass fire type.
That would be sick.
Is Olive spicy?
Well, no, because it's full of olive oil, which is like flammable.
True. Ooh.
And it keeps talking, like all the not Pokédex entries, but the entries on the website are all about the oil in it, and like that was like a very early source of fire. Like a very early source of fire, and it talks about how it's bitter and you can't eat it and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, and we don't have a grass fire type yet. So
I know that's totally true. I'm just realizing right now this is probably a baby Pokemon. And I think it being grass normal is whatever, but also there's other baby Pokemon that are that have a normal dual type that later changes. I'm thinking of a Zuril. So Cayla, I love that theory. I have not thought about fire. When I think of this thing evolving, it could I could see a branched Evo, but I like the idea of it evolving into either like a darker olive, so like a ripe olive. Mm-hmm. But I also like the idea of it evolving into like some sort of tree, like a Deku, like a great Deku tree. I think of like from Zelda, just like the super old, ancient. Like maybe it evolves at level like 50 or something.
That would be quite the growth
like the
to
olive
see.
branch too.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of people have been saying like, oh, it's gonna be really peaceful.
Yeah.
Like an olive branch.
But I hope it like, I mean, if it doesn't get darker, like the lifespan or the life cycle of an olive, they get darker when they ripen. But otherwise, if it stays green, that would also make a great shiny.
What about Lechonk?
I think it's overrated. I think it's fine. I think it's my buddy's getting a tattoo of it. I think it's
Really?
fine. Yeah, he is. That's awesome.
That's so early. He doesn't know what it's gonna be though. It's too soon.
He's a purist. I love him. I support him. But
at least he knows what he likes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Lechank's just overrated to me. I think it's fine. I'll probably it is cute. I'll probably use it, but we'll see what it evolves into.
I'm not gonna use. I don't think I'm gonna use any. Oh, I might use Palmy. It depends.
Yeah. I because I'm gonna start with Sprigatito, I don't want to use Smoliv, which makes me really sad because I think it's gonna be cool. But Lechonk, I think it's a meme. I think it's a funny meme, but it's a meme.
It's just a round normal type. To me, they saw the success of Wooloo and was like, okay, what's another barnyard animal that we can make a normal type? And
I didn't think about that.
That's like the first thing I thought of. I'm like, this is just
Well,
people freaking out.
So it's not just like that it's a barnyard animal though, because like pigs, there's like wild pigs in Spain, like that's in that's a big thing. So
Sure.
like it's not like they just were like, oh, it's a random one. Like they were strategic about it, you know?
Definitely. I think the design was probably they were like trying to pair it up. Yeah, they probably were like they probably I mean, that'd be interesting to be a fly in the wall to see how they like design a Pokédex. If like they probably just have a huge running list. But yeah, I don't know. It's overrated. I want to see what it evolves into because if the Wooloo similarity is actually legitimate, then it's probably just gonna evolve into a bigger pig that you ride on, and it's probably gonna be like the dowsing machine substitute for the ride Pokemon.
Do you guys think that I actually kind of want to talk, this can work hand in hand. I want to talk about the challenge structure in the game being so non-linear because you can challenge it in any order, and I'm assuming you can do that with your friends too, right? And then I also am curious about like what you guys think we're gonna have for like traversal options, if you think it's gonna be ride Pokemon again, and if you think we're gonna be able to ride the legendaries like motorcycles.
Yeah, what do you think, Cayla? I feel like I'm talking way too much.
I do think we're going to be able to ride the legendaries like motorcycles.
Yeah.
I think the bigger question, because a lot of people have talked about them being traversal options for other terrain. So I don't know how much that is going to be the case. I don't know how much evidence we have of that so far, like actual legit evidence. We've had bikes that go across water, so I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be able to ride them across water as well. But in terms of climbing things and all of that, I don't know for sure if that's going to be a thing. It would be cool, but I don't know for sure. And also, if we get them early versus late, like if we get them really late, I hope we have other traversal options so that we're not stuck on the ground for the whole story of the game. I
totally agree with you. Yeah. I hope like we get like a typical progression of abilities to traverse the overworld, and they're all just like limited to whatever they are. But like imagine Legends Arceus, you get to the end of the game, I don't know, let's say you get to ride Arceus. It can fly, it can go through space, it can do anything. If it can fly, it can do anything, right? So imagine like that was your all-in-one ride Pokemon. That's kind of how I'm thinking of this game. That's how I'm hoping it plays out. Because then you still have that variety. And it feels like you're using your Pokemon.
Yeah. So you think that you can unlock them towards the end and they do everything? And you can
maybe
choose them instead of another Pokemon?
That, or you go through Ultra wormholes again, and that's how they're going to give us access to all the legendary Pokemon. And I think there's a lot of similarities. And you need them
to ride through there, you think?
Yeah, I think this game was developed right after Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. And there's going to be a lot of crossover.
Well, that works with Cayla's theory.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, even if we're not going through Ultra Wormholes directly, I would not be surprised if we see things come out of Ultra Wormholes, because that's been a common thing for a while. I mean, in Pokemon Legends Arceus, we came out of an Ultra Wormhole. So, like, yeah. I would be very surprised if we don't see something along those lines.
I want more Ultra Beasts.
I mean, we could.
I just don't want it to be a forgotten thing. Like, imagine the mini game of doing the Ultra Wormholes, but like, I don't know, like it'd be so much better. Imagine if you could literally just like fly through space and it's like open world where you can fly in any direction like Oras.
That would get crazy.
I know.
Like, I'm thinking because Ultra Space is the space between universes, so if there's no boundary on that, you're gonna go to places that you really shouldn't.
Yeah, there
Like,
would
it's
have
gonna
to be
get
a boundary
weird.
there. There would have to
Yeah,
be.
there's some sort of boundary.
Yeah. But maybe
the
maybe they're
limitations
used
of
as
the
like
game.
maybe they're used as like teleport points or something
Ooh, that's cool.
throughout the game. You could use ultra wormholes to travel from point A to point B.
I love that
place to
idea,
place.
Johnny, because there's never been fast travel in Pokemon, but if this is a big region, that'd be kind of cool.
I mean, there's been
There have
fast
been
travel.
fly.
I mean,
Yeah.
True, in
and even
Legends.
other than fly, you got legends
Oh,
where you
that's
just
true.
press on
Fly.
it on a map.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
but
good
there's
call.
never been like an explanation for fast travel without the fly mechanic. But in this, if you do like the ultra wormholes to get places, you can like unlock the points that you need to travel to by unlocking those, and then there's an explanation for it. So yeah.
I don't think that's likely personally based on how ultra wormholes have worked in the past, but it would be nice mechanically to have that.
Yeah.
Lore wise, it would be weird.
Yeah.
Mechanics wise, it would be great.
Yeah, or maybe like hoopa holes or something. That could do it.
If this time and future and past thing is like really going to be the theme, which it is, like what is the extent of that going to be? Is it really just going to be theories? Is it just going to be like conceptual ideas that the players talk about, or is it going to be we can actually go through time and space?
Do you want the historical answer?
No,
The his-
I'm logging off.
Oh no. The historical answer is it's
Yeah,
going to be
it's the
up to
first
our
one.
interpretation.
Yeah.
And they're not going to actually explain it in game, or they might explain it in the anime later, but that's about
True.
it.
I mean, the quantum time crystals idea would work because those are spaces outside of time, outside of the universe, so it wouldn't mess with the timeline if we go there. It'd be like a space that's in the past or the future that we can go to, but it's not within the, you know what I mean? It's not within the timeline, so it doesn't like mess anything up.
Yeah.
What do we think the gimmick's going to be?
I don't know, but there's a diamond. I think it has to do with diamonds somehow. And the diamond is also those like time-space diamonds that you mentioned, Cayla, that quantum, what is it
Yeah.
called? A quantum crystal?
Quantum time crystal, yeah.
Quantum time. And those like are like a diamond shaped looking thing, just like on the Japanese logo. So
What do we
don't know.
like-
I still think the gimmick has to do with typings and that typing wheel, even though this newest trailer didn't show anything of that, but they didn't tell anything about a gimmick other than multiplayer online, or multiplayer, which we deduced might not be online.
I know,
So
we've been assuming.
yeah.
Yeah. Originally, I was thinking the typing thing was going to be the gimmick, but the more we see, the less I'm like confident in it. Because the only thing they've really had related to typings is that circle, you know? Like, have they had anything else related to typing?
There was another reason I thought it was. What was it? I mean,
I'm
just
looking at
the I mean,
screenshots.
the titles being Scarlet and Violet, that typing wheel. There was I can't remember what I pointed out a few examples in my original analysis video of it, and I don't remember what they all were.
I just feel like the evidence for it, they're not showing more related to that. You know what I mean? And so the fact that they aren't, unless they show more of that in the next trailer, I think it's actually going to make that theory less and less likely, and that there's going to have to be something else.
Yeah, they also, like, if you think about it too, the non-linearity of like completing all the challenges around the region before coming back to that place with the school that has that wheel in it, that big city that has the wheel and the school in it. Maybe it's just representing that you can do those in any order around that circle, and then that like diamond in the center is that big city or something.
It could also be that we're collecting something kind of like the plates, and maybe those are things that let us change types, but maybe they're just like almost like badges. Like,
Yeah.
we don't really know. It could be related to the gimmick, like it could be a type change thing, but we just the
Yeah.
plates didn't really let us do anything.
So if the gimmick is not the typing thing like we thought, it's either just the gimmick being the multiplayer thing, or the gimmick is if it's a battle gimmick, then maybe it has to do with the quantum time crystals somehow. Maybe there's like and like the whole time past versus future idea. I was actually going to make a video about this, but there's like a past versus future idea, obviously, right? And then we got like the quantum time crystals, so maybe the gimmick has to do with like, do you know the game Chris Tales?
No.
So it's a game where like you see the past and the future when you're in the battles, and you can do things like with the battles with the past and the future and the present. Maybe the gimmick is something like that, but that sounds very complicated, and
I don't
especially
think it'll
for
work for
Pokemon
multiplayer.
and
you
for
know?
multiplayer. Yeah, I think that'd be weird.
I think it would work if it was a single player game, but once you put multiplayer in there, I don't think it works. But I do think that, so we have the 4 symbols on the box art, and obviously everybody has like a million different theories about them. But if we look at the 2 that I like, kind of was like, okay, I think this is like quantum time crystal stuff, and I think this one's about sextant and navigation. And
It's
all that
about
kind of stuff.
what?
Did you not watch that video yet?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say.
You just stuttered. You stuttered at the wrong part of the word sextant.
I know. But anyways, there's those 2, and they're diagonal from each other, right? And then we've got the multiplayer symbol in the one corner, and then we have the one that I can't figure out in the other corner. And so I have a feeling, because we have 2 that are more related to like theming, right? Diagonal from each other. If we have the other 2 be more related to mechanics, diagonal from each other, that kind of makes sense, right? So we've got one that's multiplayer, and whatever that like Pokeball type shape is in the bottom, that kind of looks like a stat block. Probably.
So we agree that it's essentially just like the shape, or it's like the logos are just all encompassed by the legendary Pokemon. We see the skull of the legendary Pokemon, and then essentially like 4 wheels, right?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm just looking at it like those are going to be the 4 different modes of transportation with the legendary Pokemon.
Yeah. I guess if they fit with that, but I don't see how each of the symbols looks like a mode of transportation all that much. Like, I feel like people are stretching that when we literally have a psi symbol on one of them. You know what I mean? So like if it was like more literal, then I would say, yeah, it's probably the modes of transportation, but because that doesn't match up literally enough, I don't think that theory is right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, once again, this is another topic of we'll find out one way, and that is by seeing a new trailer or playing the game ourselves. Why did I sound so southern just now? All right.
It'll be fun to play these games, man. We got like 5 months.
So on that topic,
we're gonna get a lot of information in the next 2 months.
Yeah, and on that topic, actually, I do want to ask, between the first trailer and the second trailer, how has this shifted your opinions of the game, if at all? Let's start with you, Cayla.
I feel like this trailer gave us a lot of information while also giving us hardly any information. And so for me, I don't think my opinion has changed that much. I feel like I'm still very excited for these games because I think they're gonna give us some more lore, and it's a Pokemon game, and I just really like Pokemon. So yeah, my opinion hasn't really changed. I just want more info, and I want it sooner rather than later so that I can form more of an opinion. Like, I'm more of a story lore person and that kind of thing, so I'm just like, please just give me more information.
Yep. Dusty?
I'm in the same boat. I think I've got a lot of, like, I'm reserving my excitement. I think there's a lot of potential here, but I don't want to get too excited and then let down. I'm still enjoying Legends Arceus. That game came out 4 months ago, 5 months ago. I'm still playing it. I'm still streaming it on like YouTube. It's fun to play.
Hey.
So like I'm trying to push on the brakes a little bit. But the Pokemon didn't even get me that excited. I mean, they're cool, but I would like, the legendaries were cool. The legendaries got me excited.
Same. Yeah.
I don't know. There's so much potential, but it's all potential. That's all it is.
It's
all it is.
potential. Yeah. So as someone who is more focused on game design and just like mechanical parts of a game and the overall enjoyment of how it feels to play something, and not breaking immersion while doing so, this trailer definitely left me wanting. I think it downed my opinion of the games overall.
Really?
Yeah, I'm less excited than I was after the first trailer, because the first trailer was like, hey guys, look, it's Pokemon Legends, but in modern day and a new generation. So I was like, okay, it's going to be everything Pokemon Legends was, all these innovations they brought in, but in a modern setting, and they're going to add more to it, and it's going to be even better. And then this trailer was like, nope, we took this away, we took that away, we took that away, that away, that away. At least that's what it seems they're implying. And because of the things that they took away that I thought were finally here to stay, that were just so well innovated and things that we've wanted for so long and things that just made the entire experience more seamless and more enjoyable. I was like, okay, you guys took like all that away and are trying to just sell this as another like, here's some new Pokemon. And sure, we have multiplayer now. I don't like the art style as much as Pokemon Legends. I think taking away the cell shading is a big mistake. I do like that you can see the textures on Pokemon more, but again, a lot of shots in this showed some textureless Pokemon, so unless they fix that, I think it's gonna look like doggy doo-doo overall.
The next trailer is gonna be make or break.
It's gonna be make or break, at least for me. I don't know about everyone else. It's gonna be make or break for me because I have a feeling the next trailer is going to explain more about how battles work, which from the looks of it means we're not going to be able to throw our Pokemon out to start battles. We're not going to be able to interact with the Pokemon in an overworld. Yeah, but they look really bad. So things like that bother me.
I'm okay. We'll have to wait and see. It's one of those things.
Yeah.
I do think like a lot of the things that you had hoped. I'm usually the wishful, like the toxic positive guy who's like, just like, it's gonna be good. Hopefully. In this situation, I knew a lot of the things from Legends Arceus were not going to make it back into the main series. Things like battling. I mean, the animations is one thing. Like that could always come over to the new game. But a lot of the mechanics from that, there's a lot of things from Legends Arceus that I just cannot see in a modern Pokemon game. Not a modern game. Generation 9, a core series game. At least not in the next few generations.
I thought that if anything that they were going to take out, it was going to be like the ability to throw items at Pokemon to like weaken them and take away like the dodge roll and take away like Pokemon hurting you. But I didn't think that they would take away like the overall interaction of you in the world of like throwing out your Pokemon to start battles or just other ways that you interact with your Pokemon throughout the journey. I didn't think they would take all that away, but it seems like they are. And also going back to like animations that don't touch the other Pokemon when you're in battle, and also like the follow mechanic. I don't know. It's a whole thing that I would have to talk about.
A counterpoint bit to that though. So there is a part in the trailer where you sneak up on a small lift. Mm-hmm. And then it immediately cuts to throwing the Pokeball, and it gets a critical capture. Mm-hmm. It's possible that there might be some trainer mechanics where if we are able to sneak up on a Pokemon, we're more likely to get a critical capture. That might be what that's showing in the trailer. So I don't think we're going to have everything we had in Pokemon Legends Arceus, but we might have something. And I'm not going to get my hopes up too high about that, but I do think that it's possible. Like, I haven't completely lost hope yet.
Yeah, for me, that's still not good enough, personally. But I know that for some people, that might be all that you need. And
yeah,
I'm happy for you.
I remember that too. Sneaking has been in the game for a little while, so I'm curious to see if that actually is going to be as immersive as Legends Arceus. Because I saw that same thing, and I was like, "Ooh, this could be a hint. Mm-hmm. This could be an indicator of something."
Yeah, and they also have the Pokemon have different behaviors in the wild that seem really interesting.
Yeah.
Like running away from the trainer, going toward the trainer, and they also have like dex entries about that, it seems like. So
there seems to be size variation as well.
Possibly. There's some clues pointing to that. You and I have both pointed out some things that may hint towards it, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's confirmed though, sadly. And it's also hard to gauge because like these are developer builds and developer camera works and stuff like that, so we don't know exactly what to deduce, but like it does seem with how they're presenting a lot of the info that they're showing that like, yes, this is more traditional and it doesn't have all the innovations, the literal innovations that we introduced with the previous game.
I'm gonna expect it to be kind of a cross. It's gonna have a little bit of animations where things are happening, but not as much as Pokemon Legends Arceus.
So far I'm not seeing any of those innovations cross over, so we'll see. I would love it if it was at least a hybrid, but we don't know yet. Anyways, this has been the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet second trailer vodcast. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I'm not kidding. No, this has been the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet second trailer vodcast. But,
everybody's just like,
yeah.
Johnny's like, he's like, I haven't recorded any of this.
Oh, shoot. I forgot to press the record button. No, for real, guys. No, for real. We just did all this for
No.
nothing. No, I'm just
No,
kidding.
you're joking. You're just joking.
Can you imagine?
Oh,
But I'm
man.
glad the audience
I've
got
done
to
it
see your
before.
reaction because you look so scared just now.
I didn't buy it for a second.
No, but Dusty did.
But yeah.
Watch it have not recorded any audio though. That'd be really funny. Anyways, so this has been the Pokemon
Hilarious.
Scarlet Violet Second Trailer Vodcast featuring yours truly, JotoJohnny, Dustygogoat from the channel Dustygogoat, and Cayla from the channel Cayla's Capsule with a C and a C. So
Cayla's Capsule.
Cayla's Capsule.
You sound like you're coughing. Which
Du-
also starts with
Du-
the C.
It worked with
Unless
Dusty.
it's the Pokemon.
Dusty Gogoat. All right,
Dusty
but yeah,
lungs. See
you
you
guys
guys.
should. Whoa! Don't say bye so soon, sir. I gotta tell them that they need to go subscribe to you at Dusty Gogoat and subscribe to you at Cayla's Capsule with 2 C's. Yeah, 2 C's, and subscribe to me first and/or after. And we will see you guys in the next of all of our videos and our next podcast. Peace!
See ya.
Your audio didn't go through, Cayla.
You go too high pitched.
It cut you. It's cutting your screams off too, which is good because my ears were hurting for the split
My
second there.
squeals.
Also, all this is staying in the video as per usual.
Yeah. All right. Bye for
That's
real. I
fair.
hope
It's
you guys
okay.
actually hear it this time.
Go subscribe to Cayla
And Dusty.
And
me.
Johnny.
And
Veteran X.
Yes.
and Veteran X, who's not here. He's out on his missions. Or whatever you call them in the
He's on. He's trying to get a copy of Scarlet and Violet.
Annual training.
That's awesome. All right, bye.
Peace.
Bye.
No one's gonna stick through this long in the video anyway.